You can go quite some time without eating, but you can't go very long without drinking. That's why today we're going to be talking about water filtration. There are a ton of water filtration options out there, so many in fact, we're not even going to try to cover them all. I am going to talk to you about two today that I really like. First one we've got here is the Platypus system, so it's called the QuickDraw. It is very light, very compact, really good for on-the-go people that are trying to keep weight down, which is why I chose it. The main apparatus is the filter here, and you have a bladder for dirty water. It is labeled as such, so you never want to keep filtered water in this bag unless it is something that you're used to doing and know what's going on. It's just a really good way to differentiate what you have and have not filtered. The seal on these Platypus bags is actually really great. The one thing that's not great about them is they are proprietary, so they're not going to attach to everything that's threaded, whereas other systems are compatible with standard water bottle threads and that kind of thing. But that said, they are extremely good seals. The same seal is on this, obviously, so that it can pair up with the bag. So the way that this works is you take off your bottom cap, and you can actually see into the filtration membrane here at the bottom, and it's going to link straight up to your bag. Now, once you link the two, you would have your unfiltered water in the bag already, and then you flip open cap, and whatever you're filtering into, this is obviously where you're going to want to aim it. From here, you can use a bunch of different methods. Simple squeezing works. I prefer the roll method, just roll it down, and never force the issue when you're filtering this kind of system. It's going to take a couple minutes, it's fine. Get yourself a nice break, get yourself re-upped on water, but you want it to flow through pretty naturally. You don't want to go nuts on these things. Also, you don't want to rip the seams on these bags. They are pretty durable, but that is always something that you can do if you're just wrenching down. So you're going to get unbelievably clean water coming out of these. I have filtered some pretty murky stuff, which is unideal. I try to find the best water source that I can, but it comes out crystal clear. Flavor is actually really good. Highly recommend. The one thing that I really like about the Platypus system is the seals on the mechanism itself and the seals from the bag to the device. They're really secure. There's not a bunch of drippage and leakage. There's, let's say you're filtering a dirty water source and you have drippage around the ring here. Well, it's just going to flow down and drip into the actual water that you're using. So if you have a little bit of leakage at your seals, it's like going into your what's supposed to be perfectly clean water source. So I really like the way these seal up. Again, very light option, very compact. The way I normally do this is when I stop, I will filter all the water that I need to fill my bottles. So multiple passes, each of my bottles a liter. So this is a 1 liter bag. They do have a 2 liter bag available for this system as well. But I'll filter straight into my water bottles. That way, as I'm walking, I can just grab a water bottle and go. I'm not having to push it through a filter while drinking, which is an option with some of these systems. But I prefer just when I gather my water, filter it right there. I know what I've got is clean. If I need to take some dirty for later or I need more capacity, I can do that. Next up, we have the Sawyer squeeze system. Super famous, and if you've looked and done any research into ultralight water filtration, you've probably come across this, and that's for a good reason. It's a great unit. It's very light, very reliable. Will filter a ton of water before needing to be back flushed, assuming there's not a ton of sediment. And it's got a really good life to it. Also, the cost on it is really affordable. Again, we have a 1 liter bag that pairs up to the filter. The one thing that's really cool about the Sawyer squeeze is they have standard threading. So you can put a water bottle cap from like a smart water bottle and it fits straight on here. The threads are identical. So like a Coke bottle top, they're all going to fit. Whenever you fill up, same principles apply as on the Platypus. You want to either squeeze or roll and squeeze combination. Kind of let the flow dictate how hard you're squeezing. Don't force it. Great system here. Really reliable. This can screw straight onto a smart water bottle so you can drink straight out of the bottle. A lot of people do it and love it. I wasn't a fan of it for 2 reasons. One is the flow rate, and another one is there seemed to be a little bit of leakage in the way that I had this sealed up. I assume that some people don't have that issue, but I did, and I found it annoying. So as I talked about with the Platypus, I like to filter my water into my bottles. It's ready to go, it's done and dusted. If I need to stop and filter more, that's what I do. Both of these filtering systems are going to filter quite a bit of water before they need to be replaced. The membranes are good for way more gallons than you'd think. If you want to look up those exact numbers, they're going to be available in the links in the description below. The last feature that I want to talk about these is they are back flushable. So sometimes you're going to come across a water source that is acceptable for filtration or flat out your only option, but it has a lot of sediment, meaning there's a lot of particulate in the water. These are going to take care of that, but it's particulate is what it's going to clog these filters faster than anything. So the microscopic organisms that you're filtering out in non-sediment water that's very clean, they're not really going to clog the filter very fast because they're microscopic. It's going to take a long time. But if there is sediment in the water, you can back flush these filters. You're going to want to look at the instructions for that. Make sure you're following the procedures to the letter. But what it basically entails is pushing water through the system in reverse, and that's going to release all that sediment, and then you're ready to go again. Really nice option to have out there. A lot of guys that are on long trips or know their next stopover isn't for a substantial amount of time will carry one filter and a backup. Something to think about. It just depends on what you've got going on. So make sure that you're aware of your options as far as water filtration. If any of you have any experience with other water filtration systems or tips on the ones we talked about today, put it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and as always, keep adventuring.